Welcome to Watchmaking, the bi-weekly podcast diving deep into the world of watches, craftsmanship, and the industry. Join us as we uncover personal stories behind your favorite timepieces, explore the latest trends, and discuss business strategies. I am Elizabeth Isakova, your guide in this journey. Coming from a background in political journalism, I am excited to explore the intricate world of watches with you and ask uncomfortable questions. Whether you are a collector, enthusiast, or professional, watchmaking is your gateway to the fascinating realm of horology. Hello and welcome to the new episode of Watchmaking. After a summer break, we're back on track with the new episodes and new stories and new amazing things to discover. And I hope you all had a great summer and already anticipating some watch shows that are coming to Geneva, and not only to Geneva this autumn. And we're going to talk about the show of the end of the summer for Geneva, which is called Geneva Watch Days. And we have as a guest Antoine Pin, still managing director of Bvlgari Watches and still the president of the Geneva Watch Days Association, but we were going to talk about this still a little bit later. But today you're representing Geneva Watch Days, the essence and the core of the Geneva Watch Days here.
Yes, absolutely.
So welcome.
Hello, thank you. Very happy to be part of this podcast.
So I hope you also had a great summer.
Yes, just back from holiday.
So you're
still
relaxed?
in a waking up area to business, but very relaxed.
That is good. You need to be relaxed because you have a good week.
Yes, we have a week to warm up to the Geneva Watch Days, so it's good.
So let's talk about the Geneva Watch Days, and let's imagine that not everyone knows about the Geneva Watch Days.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. I remember how you started in 2020.
Yeah.
And before, if I'm not mistaken, the show was imagined as a substitute for CHH and Baselworld, which was cancelled, and it was planned to be launched in spring, but then with the COVID things, everything was postponed. So my first question will be, how did it all start? Like, who was the person who said, okay, let's do the show in Geneva?
So first, you made a perfect summary of the let's say the starting phase of this event. So you just need to think of 2020, the COVID. Things are really how can I say? Oh, I mean, it feels like it's a long time ago, but it's quite recent. But it does feel already quite a long time ago. But in March, April, everything is in a standstill. Nobody really knows where things are going, but all the events are being cancelled, and so no watch events. And basically, Jean-Christophe calls me and calls a few of the brands' presidents, CEOs, and says, we can't just let it go. We can't just give up and renounce. Life has to prevail in a way. And it's really it's not even a weekend, it's a day, it's Sunday. I don't remember which weekend. And so we said, okay, we go for it. We go and build something which is at least a gathering so that we can still meet the retailers who are ready to join, the press who is ready to come and go above and beyond the difficulties of the moment, and let's make sure that the industry continues to live. And so that's all how it started. And so it's March because you're right, we were planning to do the event in May. Obviously, the situation getting worse with the COVID, we had to postpone it.
Because of the restrictions in Geneva.
Restrictions all around the world, of course, and even in Geneva, we were at the peak of the crisis in a way. I mean, the first peak of the crisis.
All the lockdowns, we should remember this as well. And restrictions about the gatherings also?
Yes, gathering as well. So we could not even have a global moment for everybody. So thankfully, the summer went. And with the summer, the COVID sort of slow down the COVID, and we were allowed by and supported by the city of Geneva, but the canton of Geneva to do this event. They supported us, so we were 15 brands, a bit less than 15 brands at the time. So it was still a very tiny event. Purely one-to-one event. We know it's not even true. We did have a public event with the opening, with the official opening, with at the time Mr. Poggia really supporting us with this event, and that's how the first edition started. 15 brands, a couple of hundreds of retailers, a couple of hundreds of journalists, but from the very, very early times, this feeling that we were having something that we enjoyed, because it was the first moment we could meet since the beginning of the year. Some kind of excitement, some kind of positivity, a positive mindset about the fact that we could keep the engine running in a way, and we could talk about creativity. We could talk about positive matters. And it's sort of there was a real feel-good situation. And when we closed this event, there was really 2.5 days. All the brands said, "Well, we should continue. We should continue because it felt good. We did a bit of business, but we were happy to see the press. We'd get very good coverage." We were happy to expose our products. Again, life goes on, and we had this. We were very happy about it.
Was it the initial idea to continue with this show, or initially your plans only for like one time?
No,
event?
we planned really one event at a time, and we still do, because there is no structure. There is no massive structure behind the event. It's an association. It's a gathering of the brands that are participating. And there is no, staff recruited to work 100% on the event itself. So we are not planning long-term budgets. So it's really a pure 12-month rolling event, and we make the decisions to go for the following year. Probably this time, this year for the first time, we are thinking about 2025 before 2024 took place, because the event got bigger and bigger, and we need the time to organize it and to maintain the spirit of it, which is really at the essence of this event. And the spirit is the spirit of collaboration, of celebration of the art of watchmaking, above and beyond brand rivalries and competition. The capacity to get together and to celebrate, and which is why we like to call it a festival or a show, not necessarily a salon. We compare to the fashion shows, to art festivals. I like to always draw the parallel with the Festival d'Avignon, which is Living Arts Festival, where
it happens in the city.
It happens in the city. It's in the streets, and the products and the spectators are the essence of the event. Business comes on the back of it. Okay, so the exposure is really massively dedicated to what is the core of the business. But the business happens. The tour organizers, the producers, they are here and they find out the products they like, etc. So, but again, the first thing, the city is a major stand to expose the product, and that's a little bit the idea of Geneva, of the Geneva Watch Days. Make sure that the city is the best display of the people, the crafts, the watches, obviously. And what happened since then is this slight transformation from what was at the time purely B2B, and really only B2B because we could not gather people, to what is now more than ever a public event. And that was the move came first because we agreed with the city, with the canton, that it had to be a public event. And because we also are fully aware that we need to bring the public to the watch industry. we are all together embarked in a journey where we have to expose and to promote this industry, the craft, the artistic perspective of it more than ever, the technicity of it as well. And this need to be known, and it's not that obvious. We are competing with so many other luxury items, so many other elements, cultural elements. So progressively, the fair is expanded, but also switch to more
to be more democratic in a way.
Not customer, public-centered events more than ever.
Yeah, because it's very important to distinguish customers and public people, like normal public, because sometimes people admire watches and they want to know the know-how, and maybe it's good also for the younger generations.
Exactly.
Which can learn from the best from the brands.
Absolutely.
And I remember that you had, like last year, you had also special breakfast events with the CEOs of the brands, with the students. Are you going to continue this
Absolutely.
way?
We loved it. It's this is what we like. There is no we do have specific areas where we are meeting professionals just because we need dedicated spaces. But the beauty of this event is that we all make ourselves available to talk to anyone who is interested in watches. And it can be students, it can be people from other businesses, it can be people from the cultural side, it can be young people who are not even students yet from the watch industry or other industries. The idea is we bring this proximity that somewhat luxury blocks, and somebody, a major operator in the watch industry told me, you know what I like about the Geneva Watch Days? It's like for the tech, it's a geeks salon. It's the salon for the guys who really are passionate about watches. We really have a passion, and we share this passion. And sometimes they share the passion with people who have no clue about what watches are about. But this is how you're creating the very starting point of a new passion. And there is a lot of generosity in that sense. You're sharing your passion. You're sharing everything you have, and rather than trying to purely grab the business side. So it's again, it's a very open event. It's I tend to think it's a generous event, and this philosophy is absolutely key.
I cannot help but compare your event with Watches and Wonders, which is more substantial. I think it's less democratic in a way, even though they have days for the open for the public. How do you feel yourself? How do you position Geneva Watch Days if you compare to Watches and Wonders?
I believe we should see ourselves as being more than ever complementary. As much as the Watches and Wonders has done a lot of work to open up to the public, they are first professional salon that opens to the public. We would like to see the Geneva Watch Days as a cultural event that is also bringing additional business sides. But year after year after year, we are inviting more and more stakeholders who are about education, about the culture of watchmaking. The FHH is more involved than ever. Europedia is a major partner as well to promote and celebrate this industry. And we are located in Quai du Mont Blanc. The access to the Quai du Mont Blanc is free of charge. And with this feeling that we should put no barrier to anyone who is interested. So we're not inviting people who are willing to purchase a watch. We're inviting people who have an interest in watches. So in that sense.
So you're okay if there are some pirates around
yes,
your
yes,
event?
Absolutely.
Because in a way, your brands are pirates for the Watches and Wonders.
So in that sense, we don't pay anyone to come here. So there's no reason why the other brands should not necessarily stand around. They do their things. The more the merrier in that sense, because with the growing number of brands participating, like it's again going back to Avignon. There is the in and there's the off festival, and everybody can live together. The more we are talking about watches, the more we celebrate. We bring tiny or big events. The more this moment is really a celebration of watchmaking, and that's it. And it brings this impression of energy, of positivity, of creativity that this industry needs.
Lightness,
to
maybe.
Lightness,
maybe as well.
Lightness, flexibility, and that's what people are expecting when they don't know about an industry. They would expect, of course, a form of. They would expect some elements of exclusivity, but relying on the essence of what luxury is about, which is the exclusivity of skills, of genius, of creativity, not many more things.
But you said that the more the merrier. This year you're going to host 51 brands.
We're even 51 maisons and 55 brands.
55 brands, even more. Yeah. So is there a limit for you?
There is. We fix a limit every year because we, again, going back to the spirit that drives the event, which is based on a form of consensus, which consensus doesn't mean you don't make decisions, and there's a very fine line between the two. But again, we embark the brands and we make sure that they are all getting what they're expecting from this event. So it takes time, it takes energy to not necessarily to talk to every one of them systematically, but to make sure that we remain very open to their demands, explain the reasons why we do things the way we do them. First, prepare the projects and expose it before it's being really implemented. So it's a constant. There's a heavy work to maintain this legitimacy through this open approach. There is also a clear understanding that we are helping the global community, that the big brands are supporting the smaller brands, and there's this whole acceptance of solidarity, of community that we need to maintain, to entertain, to nurture. And if we go too big, too fast, we embark brands that don't necessarily know how things go, that start to be too demanding, play their own way, and the risk is that we lose this spirit. We lose this. There is a friendship. I mean, every time I attend the opening event, where all the CEOs are here, they're all on stage. We need to expand the stage, by the way, because with 50 people,
will not fit.
It won't fit. But people are happy to be there.
It's like a family gathering, actually.
It's like a family gathering. So it's not everybody's friend with everyone, but there is still this, this feel-good moment. And that is absolutely key. It's not in the status of the association. Okay, we don't write that down. So that's why it's even more subtle and it's even more complex. I mean, my worry is that we lose this. And probably we lose the soul of the event, and probably the event doesn't survive.
If you will expand.
If we expand too quickly and too much. Mm-hmm. The expansion helps the visibility, the awareness, the organization, the services we bring. So it's good in a way. It also nurtures the balance between big brands and small brands, because again, small brands are paying a very little fee to be present. The entry price, the first level is about 10,000 Swiss francs, so it's very reasonable, and that's what we want to maintain. But that requires that some big brands join as well to contribute to this event. So again, if we lose this community feeling, I'm not sure the event can continue the way it does right now. So bringing 20 more brands at once is dangerous for that reason. Then also when you bring a certain number of brands,
or just big brands, or just focus on big brands.
But that's
it's also not
this
very
is
good.
not the way we started. So again, we changed the philosophy. Here we are open. We just say that we need a balance between small and big brands, and we maintain this balance. So we can't have only small brands because it wouldn't work financially. But the idea is that, of course, if we bring 20 more brands, the structure cannot accept those brands. So we need to expand the structure. So it means the budgets go higher. So we always need to balance balance things out.
And you said you already anticipated 2025 fifth edition. What will be the next year? Because you started this year, you also launched some kind of Geneva Watch Days in Zurich. Will it be the case for the next year?
But it's
like expansion in other directions.
You know, this event is very entrepreneurial. The birth of the event was entrepreneurial. It was purely a pure act of entrepreneurship. So we test and learn every year. So we tested the Geneva Watch Days in Zurich this year, and it's really was extremely successful. We invited 700 people. We got a turnout of 650, which is absolutely stunning, highlighting the fact that there is of course this passion for watches in the other side of Switzerland. But also, we wanted to highlight the fact that it was not the Geneva Watch Days. Doesn't mean it's an event for the Romandie. It's the Swiss event, but we can somewhat promote this event outside Geneva. So it was a good test. It was a successful test. The question is, how do we move from that test onward? And we got lots of questions or marks of interest from other cities, but we can't run too many things at once.
Other cities in Switzerland?
Not necessarily, but we can't do everything at once. So again, it's, do we test something else? Do we consolidate what we do? We need to continue to consolidate Geneva. We need to bring this. We need to continue to see how the celebration can be made. So I think it's this is what we're working on. What are the new initiatives next year? Should we propose many of them? Should we just consolidate? And this is the things we need to discuss now. And this means we need to start consider assumptions about the number of attendance, about question whether all the brands who attended this year are ready to go to continue. We never ask the question before the end of the current event, so we don't have confirmation of how many brands will they attend next year. So, but we still need to start thinking now. Just a matter of anticipating the questions and being ready to start the 2025 issue as soon as 2024 is closed.
So you will be for the first time asking brands if they want to come in the next year.
Well, we're always asking. But we may ask them more
to confirm.
Let's say on the 3rd of September, we may ask them to show their interest. We always do, but what we need to do now is propose a program as early as possible. We need to tell them, okay, it's not just you commit. We also need to give them what they are asking for. So that's what we are preparing now.
Speaking about the future, you've been promoted to become the CEO of another brand, which is not participating in Geneva Watch Days. Are you going to stay at the head of the Geneva Watch Days Association?
Well, yes, I take the head of Tag Heuer from right after the Geneva Watch Days. I don't feel comfortable to stay where I am since Tag is not part of the Geneva Watch Days. So I'm not considering to stay, and that's basically, it's good that also I've been in the position for 5 years, so it's good that anyway someone else takes the job, be it my successor or somebody else in the association. So But it wouldn't make sense for me to stay there if I'm representing a brand that is not attending.
So you haven't discussed yet the transition of the power within the association?
We're working on it.
Okay, that's good. And one more question, because we want to finish with this Tag Heuer story, because you started in Tag Heuer as a brand manager.
Yes.
How do you feel now yourself coming back to as a CEO?
Well, it's I'm super excited. Obviously, I mean it back to the roots, and it's an amazing circle in my life. So. And I have a passion for this brand, obviously. So I'm very excited about the challenge. It's like you're entering the toy store. You know, you've got so many things to look at, and you don't know where to start with. But so it's a very exciting moment for me. It's always bittersweet. I've had 5 amazing years with Bvlgari. We've done incredible things.
And hit some world records as well.
we did, but beside the world record, it's beside the what, it's the how. We have a great team. We've achieved amazing things together. We enjoy working together, and so I'm leaving colleagues, but friends as well. Really, people that I have a real affection for. So it's always complicated because. You lead the journey, and then you're the one leaving leaving the boat. So this is tricky. This is always a bit tricky, and it's always a very specific moment. But it's like going back from holiday. You know, if you're not sad that you're leaving holidays, it means the holiday were really, really bad.
Yeah, it's true.
So I guess if I was not sad, it would not be right. So it's part of moments, those moments in life that are intense, and that's what fundamentally that's what is good in life as well. So yeah.
That's true. So hope to see you in a new capacity here as well.
Yes, with pleasure.
The podcast or for the interview. But coming back to Geneva Watch Days, I guess you not noticed, but you saw the drop of the Swiss exports this year, watch exports. And some people are saying that started basically panicking on the internet, not the experts, but normal watch collectors at some point, that we are going to the end of the blooming era of Swiss watchmaking.
I think if you put a step back, if you look with a bit of hindsight, we sort of tripled the exports in let's say 15, 20 years. So you can't really.
So
we're minus 2% in the Swiss export. So I think we should just accept the fact that there are ups and downs. We've had an amazing ups for 2 years, and the trees would never reach the sky. So there's a form of normalization. There are, and it's fair to say that it's not just the watch industry that is impacted. It's a global industry, the global economy, and we're part of this global economy. And there is probably a bit less spending power than there was 2 years ago when people had been capitalizing on the COVID subsidies. And this is also. There's a moment where there are no subsidies anymore, and so you need to face that. You're back to reality. There's no disaster. There's just a bit of a slowdown. I am more concerned about the units, because the units drop is consistent for many years now, and means that there are less and less watches on the wrists of people. And that is something that we need to address as an industry. That's what the Geneva Watch Days are about as well. It's about making sure that the people who are buying an iWatch, because let's reckon that there are many more iWatches sold a year than the global number of watches exported from Switzerland. So we should get back to those basics and see how those people who purchase a digital watch, they move forward. And they get this interest that beside this mini computer they put on their wrist, there is something else. There is a philosophy of about time. There is a a technology that is different, that is the mechanical one. There is this art of living, this art of creating, this craft that you should appreciate. I believe that the success of digital watches is very interesting because we are basically building the habit of people, which is the fact that they still wear something on their wrists. So switching from one digital watch to a beautiful dressed up watch when you're moving out, etc., is something that we need to promote, to explain, to support. Probably what concerns me in that perspective is the security element and the fact that some people are being, attacked, or you see aggressions related to watches, and that is a concern that we need to address. Probably, I mean,
a lot of
that we need to be
concerns
aware of, because addressing is probably. I don't know exactly how we can tackle this, but maybe we should think about the different ways to sort of protect our products. And again, here this is where we have to be creative, to be innovative, and to protect our products. But again, I am quite convinced that if we build this enthusiasm around the product itself. Those hundreds of millions of people who wear digital watches every day, they're ready to put another watch on their wrists because we see more and more people wearing both. They're very ready to switch, and you don't go working out with your digital watch and to a dinner with the same product necessarily on your wrist. And that's the thing we need to develop, this capacity to see this beautiful accessory as an expression of yourself in different phases of your life, and I'm sure we have to develop it.
Do you think that there's a way for the digital watches and just normal watches to coexist?
Yes.
In the future?
Yes, especially in my new role. Definitely yes. There's a different perspective, a different purpose, and we should see it like this.
Okay. So you mentioned already this great idea that shows help to promote watchmaking, the essence of the watchmaking to the people. Do you think these shows like Geneva Watch Days now can turn this downturn of Swiss watch experts, can turn it back and to raise the number? You mentioned also the number of timepieces produced. Do you think it will change in the future?
Yes, absolutely. Those ups and downs are happening everywhere, in every field, at every moment. We are overwhelmed by the moment and not by those mid-term or long-term perspectives. Think of the ups and downs we've been through since the COVID. I mean, we didn't even talk
from the
about
COVID, it was a huge down.
Yeah, but we didn't even talk about the crisis. It was above and beyond the crisis. It was not even maybe about the economy. Okay, we were talking about a matter of life and death. So it was political before anything else. And then there is this kind of progressive recovery that goes much beyond our expectations in terms of rebound. And here, we have people who believe that they made an amazing turnaround in their industry. We just all took advantage of this rebound. That's just the normal. Let's say that's the normal course of life. Okay, there are those ups and downs. We should not look at the Swiss exports on a monthly basis. Of course, we look at our business on a regular basis. But if we put a bit of the distance, we are largely above 2022 in terms of Swiss exports, largely above, and 2022 was an amazing year. So, okay.
But in a way, it's coming back to normal.
It's back to normal. We did see this bubble for a craze for some watches, which was nonsense, and probably, I mean, now everybody would accept that, which was, by the way, fueled by people who were not which was purely artificial and fueled by people who are not into watches. Those people are probably the people who a few of them made money, but most of the watch collectors made money, and those people most of the time lost money because it's gone up and down. But there are some people who purchase watches at a crazy price, new watches at a crazy price, for no reason except the fact that they would expect it to go even higher. But honestly, we're talking about people, we're not talking about the industry. And again, this was really artificial. So yeah, back to normal. And yes, we need to work hard. We need to build this excitement. It's our work. It's our job. This is our mission. That's it. And we can't blame it on anybody else. I mean, we have to propose product that makes sense or seduce or tell stories that again are meaningful to customers and above and beyond customers, to the public as a whole. And that's it. And that's the reason why we developed this Geneva Watch Days. That's the reason why there are so many media, institution, independent people who are contributing to the Geneva Watch Days, which to me is extremely satisfactory, because it really says that we are working all together in the same direction.
Mm-hmm. In one of your interviews, you said that one thing that should remain the same and at the same time it should change, it's technique, like know-how and craftsmanship. How do you apply this phrase, like this expression now towards what you just said, that we need to promote watchmaking to the public? If it's not developing in a way, the craftsmanship, if it's not developing, it might not be that interesting for people.
But I think
discover.
That's... I don't know if I'm going to answer your question. I feel talking with my colleagues, there is so much passion and so much drive about what's new, what's coming, about what they are proposing, what they are going to bring to the public, and the feeling that, wow, they made a revolution. That just, we're out of this moment when you build a new color of a dial. It's out. There is really this form of enthusiasm that you could, of those young watchmakers, they start in their rooms and they build their first watch, their first prototype, and you feel this. And I must say, I appreciate the fact that the Grand Prix d'Horlogerie highlights some of them year after year after year. And there is now the Louis Vuitton Award as well, which is promoting those young watchmakers. So there is more and more this kind of celebration of the art of watchmaking, which is, and what is great is it's about something new that we bring. So there is this projection in the future, but clearly based on this expertise that is developed. And I think you're always in this kind of progression, and that to me makes a lot of sense. We need to be ambitious in the future, in the way we see the future. We cannot just say, I'm going to put this extra tenths of a second in terms of precision, or this extra. We need to be very ambitious. What we've done with those world records in terms of thinness is actually with this competition between Piaget, Richard Mille, and Bvlgari. We've put the emphasis on one element, which is the dimension, but through the dimension, the horological performance, and this clearly leads to the engineering precision, which is becoming crazy at that level. And you mentioned also Piaget with the tourbillon, the slimmest one. And I mean, I give a lot of respect to all those brands. We are as competing, but helping each other. We are clearly. I can say that we looked at what Piaget was doing to develop our own Finissimo Ultra, and there are things we said we should be doing, things we should not be doing, but that's helped us to design our project, but it's helped us also to go much beyond what we were expecting in terms of engineering precision, much beyond. We are looking at today at microscopes that are reaching the nanometer precision, which we were not even discussing 5 years ago. So this is what we need to bring. This is this passion, but also this extraordinary expertise that we need to bring to the clients again, to make them feel that this industry, which is one of the oldest today in terms of technology, in terms of principles, technological principles, we're still basing most of our developments on the Huygens escapement, etc. So things
Which
that
help
are
to develop other technologies as well.
many centuries old. But in the same time, we are working on technologies that are less than 2 years old. And that's what I like, and that's what I think is really highlighting the vibrancy of this industry, and that we need to continue to nurture. We need to show this ambition. I mean, we need to really think of. I think the challenge of sustainability is super interesting for us, because the basic fundamentals of this industry are based on mechanical and energy that is the most sustainable one, and the most and the one that is not. That is wasted if it's not used the way we are using it, which is human energy. So how do we make the most of this energy? We can do much better than what we do, I'm sure. And that's the kind of ambition we need to show and we need to explain.
And for you personally, what's primordial in watch? Is it a design or it's a technical side of the watch?
But first, I think wherever you go, you'll hear that one doesn't go without the other. I must say that I've loved this time spent with Bvlgari, where clearly we pushed it even further, because we were designing the studio was both designing the product itself, but also contributing to the design of the caliber itself. And one was not getting without the other. And I've loved those moments with Fabrizio Bonamassa, our head of creation for Bvlgari, working together with Julien Bérin, with Philippe Satarski, the people from the technical side at the very early stage of the development of a caliber, but thinking the watch together with the movement. And I think here it's the ultimate status. It's like you're thinking you're developing the engine of your car or the engine of a boat, and you're building. It's not that you're building the boat around the engine or the car around the engine. It's this kind of constant dialogue between the two elements, and I've had amazing sessions around this, and it's sorry if it's a bit over the top, but I talk about co-substantiality of the design and the technology and the technicity. But I believe that's what we can do with watches, and you don't necessarily see it in the technicity of in all art pieces. But think about, it's interesting. Think about art and the way and those revolutionary moments in art. They always took place when the technology was moving forward. The Impressionism.
I mean, the quartz crisis. Let's go to watchmaking. Quartz crisis. They brought a lot of new brands alive, new designs, new technologies as well.
But that's where I believe that those technologies, they help to bring more and more creativity, technical creativity, but also they bring new capacities in craft. I mean, we see the way we are developing dials these days. They are made of. It's extremely complex to do a dial, and probably one of the best kept secret of the industry. To develop new rendering, new techniques on the dial requires technical capacities in chemicals of materials, in the physics of materials that are extremely advanced, and we capitalize on that to bring this creativity and this creativity in craft. So that's really interesting.
What do you think is the biggest achievement in the industry at the moment? what would be for you the biggest achievement of the industry? Another hard question.
It is a hard question. I think
Hard to
actually,
choose.
I think I'm quite optimistic that the industry is on the edge of massive developments in the coming 5 to 10 years. Massive ones. I would say it's
You're talking
it's
about
boiling.
technologies.
It's there'll be breakthroughs, real breakthroughs in the industry between now and the next 10 years. Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
So we need
a few more years. Sorry.
years to wait. Okay, like
No, but I expect. Yes, I expect actually micromechanics is think of the chips, the new chips that are more based on biological technologies. We're talking about micro industries and this going back to mechanical techniques is a way to address this question about energy, and there are things happening here that will be probably coming out in the next 5 years.
Yeah,
that will bring a different in terms of mechanical performance, massive difference in terms of mechanical performance. I'm sure.
I think we've seen such glimpse of the future with some independent brands, and also we have for them here at our club already.
Yeah. But I think there are the ones absolutely which are those geniuses that are on their own, and there is also a lot happening in labs with the big brands that we don't necessarily see. But yeah, I would expect that.
A lot has been cooking.
Yes.
So we have a list of questions we ask every person who comes to the podcast at the end of the podcast, which is good because it's the end of the podcast so it's, for you. But it's also interesting for us to hear your answers. So the first question is, what is one thing you wish people knew about the watch industry? Because you said you were talking about
it's the people.
Yeah,
it's the people. I wish the people, the individuals who are buying a watch, realize the passion, the enthusiasm, the wealth of knowledge that some people bear when they are making their watches. I wish they knew two things. I wish they knew the people, and they knew the complexity of producing the watches they're wearing. And they in any craft industry, the making of is absolutely fascinating. But in the watch industry, it's so complex and made of so many different expertise. I wish they knew.
So Geneva Watch Days is exactly the place and the time
maybe
to discover this.
Exactly. Maybe you're putting me on the divan. Maybe I'm actually I'm finding out why we developed this Geneva Watch Days in that direction.
So it's good for both of us then. So what are for you the three most important aspects or features of the watch?
The readability, the function itself. Okay, if you lose this, you do whatever you do. You call this table a watch. Okay, so we should never forget the function, the raison d'être of the watch. So that's key, and it means that you're able to read the time. Then you can do whatever you want around it, but that would be to me the essence of it. And through this, the horological performance is absolutely key. And I'm going to stick to 2.
Okay, 2 is enough. And if you would have to wear only one watch...
No.
For the rest of your life?
I refuse this question.
You don't want to...
I do not want to answer this question.
So what watch do you have on your wrist now? Okay, it's Bvlgari.
It is a Bvlgari. It has to be a Bvlgari. It is the Octo Finissimo 8 Power Reserve.
So will it be something sentimental for you? This timepiece? Or
if I had to answer this question, it would be sentimental, of course, because because I'm in such a privileged situation. I'm exposed to so many watches, and as far as watches are concerned, I'm not a man of one passion. It's really the watch of the moment, and you need to move around the products because you need to have this moment of passion, like love at first sight, and the beauty with watches is you could have plenty of love at first sight. That's okay. Watches are not jealous, so it's okay.
Have you ever had the love at first sight with another brand, not Bvlgari?
Yes.
Okay. Plenty, I suppose.
Yes, plenty. Absolutely. It's absolutely. It's like you go to the museum and you have love at first sight, and you don't go to another museum not to experience that moment as well. So that's the same thing with watches. I can absolutely. Don't ask me which ones.
Okay, I will ask next time. So you will be prepared.
No, I won't answer.
Okay. So if you can meet and have a dinner with one person from the watchmaking industry, watchmaking world, dead or alive, who will it be?
Maybe it's obvious. I would love to meet one of the major inventors. I'm always thinking of Bvlgari, because for me he's really is the essence of what hierology is about, and hierology is about innovation. It's about breaking the rules. He broke the rules. So any breakthrough in the industry, it can be Wiggins as well. Those people who basically don't take the past, the Bible of the past ways to do things for granted, and they're clearly revolutionizing the industry, and that's the spirit of hierology. It's an engineer's work. It's an engineer's industry. It's a poet and engineer industry in the both sides, and I think I would love to hear him say that, because I'm sure he would say that.
What would be the first question you would ask them?
Why? What made you think of a tourbillon? What made you think? Why did you go that way?
It's an interesting one. Yeah, I would love to hear the answer as well, personally. Thank you for being
You're
with
welcome. Thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah,
really nice of you.
Wish you the great Geneva Watch Days.
Yes, I look forward to it.
Coming ahead, and hope to see you here again.
With pleasure.
In a new capacity.
Okay, with pleasure.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And that's it for today. Join me again in 2 weeks' time for the next episode, and don't forget to follow and subscribe to easily find us again. Until next time, Viva Watchmaking!